Okay, Nick, and the scouts are here tonight.
All right. Hey, Scouts, how are you?
Good, thank you for having us tonight.
Nick is our
so-
chairman. He's joining us
So
from,
pleased you could be here.
okay,
Okay.
we need to call roll.
Yes, we do. Can we do a roll call? I saw Joan was also available on the WebEx or the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, Catherine Zemeckis is, she let me know she would not be here. She's not feeling well. Nick Webb,
Here.
Bertram Schmitz, Lawrence Willett,
Here.
Mark Giacona,
Here.
Joan Ulati,
Here.
Mary Jo Phelps.
Here.
Okay,
Okay. So the first order of business is to review the minutes, get approval. Is there a motion on the floor?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the February 14th meeting.
And I'll second that.
All right.
okay.
All in favor? Oh, is there any discussion? No? Okay, all in favor?
I
All opposed?
heard Mark abstain.
I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't hear you, MJ.
I abstained, that's all,
Oh,
because I wasn't here.
it's not a protest. All right, I think the motion carries then unanimously.
Mhm.
All right. Sorry, I'm working on a little screen going back and forth between the agenda and the meeting. Okay, so I'm sorry I can't be there in person. I normally really do like to attend these meetings, but am very pleased to see everybody here, and I'm very pleased with our guests. I think it's great to add as many people as we can into what we're up to. So in terms of workshops, I don't think there's been any movement on the pollinator pathway project, but if anybody has anything to contribute, please do.
I don't have
No,
any.
I think the pollinator pathway, I think we're gonna start seeing a lot more motion in the next couple months as it comes planting season, etc. I know that the beautification committee who was working with us on this is sort of holding off a bit while they wait for some guidance in terms of a couple of the beds that they're looking to plant. When we get certainty on that, I will let you all know, and you're more than welcome to come down and help us out. And that's also true of the scouts. So if I can, if you can give us a name of somebody to contact when we're in the midst of building out these pollinator gardens, love to have some raw labor involved in that as well. So I think that's all we've got on that.
Because we have scouts that are looking for volunteer hours, so that would be great.
Oh, yeah, awesome. And Nick, I just happened to notice that the beautification committee has their next meeting on April 2nd. At the library, and I'm thinking I might attend and just ask about.
Oh, you definitely should.
Okay, some kind of joint presentation on pollinator pathway.
Yeah. Well, so they've got they've done that pollinator pathway presentation like 3-4 times. They adapt it for the season. They've got it down, but and I used to be part of that presentation, but they kicked me out. So, can you not see me on the video screen?
No, we
I'm
cannot.
saying your name, but no.
Okay, let me see if, oh, here we go. Sorry, I'm not a Zoom person, so there we go.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so they've got a fairly defined presentation. They've got the two people, Sherry and Sue, that give it. I can help out in terms of setting up times, dates, the marketing of it, but I'm sure they would welcome any help they could get on that. MJ, while we got you, anything on residential food composting?
No, but I was going to suggest, Earth Day, maybe for the closest day, Saturday to Earth Day, to do something at the, transfer station again. What do you think? You know, handing-
I lost the date that you mentioned. What was the date?
I'm just looking to see when Earth Day is. Oh, it's the same day as, okay, the 22nd is Earth Day, so I'm suggesting Saturday, the 20th
What month?
for that.
What month?
What do you think?
April?
April, yes. that's
You
April
didn't.
20th, yes. To just go for a couple hours and, you know, hand out flyers again, answer any questions.
I like it.
Not to put plastic in there.
Yeah. Very happy to join you, MJ, and we could print out flyers and definitely. Anybody else would be more than welcome as well.
Great.
My experience from the last time we did it is it's very front loaded in the day. So if you go there from like 8 to 11, you catch everybody.
Right. And maybe I'll reach out to Brett Martin.
Yeah.
And see. Oh, no.
All right, good, good. Yeah, I'm all in. I think that's a great idea.
Right, thanks.
Okay. Nothing on Japanese knotweed right now? Oh,
Hold
sorry.
on, Nick.
Just say the 20th is also the hazardous waste day at transfer station, so we're gonna
Oh,
have a
then
lot
there
of
might
people.
be extra people.
Yeah, you have a lot of people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Our guest has just informed me that it's also hazardous waste day. That day.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. Although it's a little chaotic. I don't know if they'll want us
Yeah.
there. But MJ, I'll reach out to Todd and make sure he's okay with it.
Sure. That sounds good.
Okay. Cool. Nothing on Japanese knotweed. It's not really, it's probably another month or two before we can put anything out. Unless Kathy's not here, never mind.
Right.
The open space set aside subcommittee, we've put that on hold for now while we're working through the acquisition.
Yeah, and I would also indicate, that we want to table that until, there's a report back from our planner, Abby Pearsall. She's going to, check with the, zone, P&Z and get back to us on that. So she's not here tonight, so, we should table it until the next meeting.
Okay, great. Okay, well, we're just rolling through this, which is great. We have old business, which is the public use of the infrared camera. Joan, I think you had it checked out. How did it go?
I know how to use it, but I couldn't hook it up to my phone because the setting is like an international setting on there. It doesn't fit any wire that came. There's a wire connector that came with the camera. It doesn't fit onto my phone, and I couldn't get an adapter. So I brought it back to the library because it was overdue. But I was not able to take the picture, but I know the camera does work.
Okay. Well, let me see if I can check it out, and I'll see if I can troubleshoot it.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. I really wanted to use it to find the leaks in my house.
Yeah, we're running out of cold days, so we gotta get
Yeah.
for the Scouts benefit. Last year we purchased an infrared camera, and we donated it to the Library of Things, which is at the Henry Hall Library. So you can actually check out the infrared camera And what it's used for a lot of things, but what you can use it for is on cold nights, you can go outside and take a picture of your house and you can see very clearly where heat's leaking out of your house. And so it's a great way to sort of identify where there are any leaks. So we've had a little trouble getting it fired up, and first the library was slow in terms of cataloging it. And now that it's been cataloged, we got to figure out how to use it and make it very easy to use for everybody else. So I will try and get there and see if I can use it.
Great.
So the bike racks in downtown Clinton, I think we're tabling while we're tabling this one because there's a significant discussion about updating the downtown area. Has anybody heard anything on that, by the way?
I heard that the town council is putting together a subcommittee for downtown revitalization. And this will feed right into it because I think part of that's going to be a discussion for any additional streetscaping going along the Route 1 area. And if you're talking about bicycle racks, I don't know, were there any ideas of where they were thinking about putting it?
Not particularly. It's just, it's jarring that there are no bicycle racks in downtown Clinton.
Yeah.
So
I think it's certainly something, once they get this downtown revitalization subcommittee appointed, and they may have already done that. And I don't know, Sherry, if you have any knowledge as to whether that's been created yet, but once they do, I think maybe as a commission, we should submit, some suggestions and ideas about what type of streetscaping, including bicycle racks, should be put downtown.
yeah, no, totally agree.
Town-owned properties, so there's theater.
Yep. Schools,
Right,
library.
but the schools aren't on Main Street, so
Yeah.
I think this could be a good spot.
Yeah.
Is that town hall?
Where did you say, MJ?
Up behind town hall, like maybe right near where the gazebo is, and people are taking in their boats.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's one, I'd love to see one in more of the down, because we're putting in all these condos and apartments. So I could easily see if we could make it easy for people to take their bike downtown and have a place to park it, they would do that. And so we just ought to make downtown Clinton a little more bike friendly.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, we might want to consider the green too, the town green. The only issue there, though, is part of the historic district.
Yeah.
We have that historic district commission, whether or not that would be problematic, because they try to preserve that green solely for historic preservation and revitalization. So if we want to put in bicycle racks, that certainly would be a central area. But I think we should go through the historic district commission.
I have a
Yeah.
suggestion too. There's another small park on Commerce Street as you come down into Route 1. There's a very small park there that
Yep.
would be very visible. That
Peace Park.
area. for-
It is?
Yes. Are you talking? Ask her, she's talking about fees.
Okay. What's that?
Are
Joan,
you
are
talking about the
you
park
talking about-
right behind Liberty Bank?
Yes, I think that's behind Liberty Bank. Yeah, there's this very small area where they used to play music sometimes.
Yes,
and-
that's town owned.
On first Thursdays or, yeah.
Yeah, that would be very visible to go downtown. It would be accessible.
Yeah,
The old-
that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about my video. I had surgery and I don't want anybody to see me.
Your choice.
Well, I turned on my video and people probably didn't want that either. So,
Oh no, it's fine. You very handsome there.
oh, well, thank you, Joan. I know you're lying, but okay. Here we go.
I'm not lying.
We've got the 40th annual. Did anybody want to go to this conference, the Connecticut Land Conservation Conference?
I just assumed you were going, Larry, since you're.
Yeah, no, I can't make it, I have a conflict there.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
I
so
know-
I'm not sure.
Oh, I thought it would be, March. We haven't missed any cutoff yet?
Yes, you missed the early, I
Okay.
think you missed, let me just check. Yeah, you had to
Okay.
register by March 1st for the early bird, but you could still, after March 1st, it increases by $15.
Okay.
At the last meeting,
Well, I would be interested, sure. So
okay,
I will check it out.
yeah, if you plan on going, pay for it and then submit a bill.
Okay,
Because
sure.
last month, the commission authorized one person to go,
Okay.
and nobody else has said anything. I think Joan thought she might.
I'm going
Yeah.
away on Saturday for 3 weeks, so I wanted to go, but it fell in the wrong window.
Okay. So, yeah, MJ, if you would like to go to that, we'd love to have you go. I'd love to have some representation. Okay. Anything else on old business that anybody wants to bring up?
You know, stepping back to that bicycle rack, how about some at the train station? I mean,
Yeah,
conceivably,
absolutely.
someone might want to ride a bike to the
There
station.
aren't any,
I don't know if there is or isn't,
Yeah, but that's government property. That's not us.
but if people want to use public transit, and they want to ride to it on a bike, that might be something we could either suggest or be willing to donate to to that. You say it's the state property?
No, it's federal government.
Oh,
It's
federal
Amtrak.
Amtrak. Okay.
Okay.
Well, we could certainly write a letter to Amtrak suggesting.
Honestly, I thought on the other side, I thought there already was one, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Not on the
Yeah, I'd
main
love to
street.
see one by CVS or Chips.
Period, it was the company.
Oh,
the parking
yes.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I thought I had seen.
Yeah.
Was it over by there? Oh,
Post Office Square may have them.
what's that?
Post Office Square might have bicycle racks.
Oh,
I
yeah,
can't
that's
remember.
true.
So we'll table that to the next meeting, have a further discussion. Maybe the planner could have something to add. She's going
You know what? I will talk to somebody from town council, find out where they're going with the downtown redevelopment committee.
I'm speaking to 3 of them tomorrow night at the town committee meeting, so I'll raise it as well.
Okay, good, good. All right, any new business that anybody wants to add?
I do. The Madison Historical Society had a woman from Yukon come and talk about climate change and the coastline and resiliency and things like that. And although I didn't get to the talk, I had the wrong night, and it was advertised for a Sunday night or something like that. The lady who's in charge said she would give me the PowerPoint. Her name is Alex at Madison, to give to coastal resiliency, but that's not something we would do, right? We wouldn't. I could maybe give them the link to look at the PowerPoint, or would
Oh,
would you?
yeah, absolutely. But it, yeah, but it'd be good for us to have it as well. I mean, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking we might be interested in seeing it. I asked Alex for the PowerPoint, and she said she sent me the email, but she can't seem to attach it or something. So she's going to contact the speaker and have her contact me directly.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
It could be, I found with PowerPoints, especially ones that are more professionally done, they get enormous, and sometimes over email, they just don't send.
That must be what happened.
So typically what I do in those cases is I create a Google Drive, or I have a Google Drive. I put it up there. I upload it to the Google Drive, and then I send out a link to that document. And that's how people can access it.
Okay, I will call her. She seems very busy in Madison, so it's hard to get through to her.
Yeah.
But she promised me she would do this, so.
Okay, great. Thanks, Joan. I appreciate it. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I think it's really timely right now.
Oh
so
my goodness, yeah. When I was away, I got back Sunday, and I just started driving around, and the amount of flooding that went on, from the rainstorms over the week, I was like, wow,
yeah, it's kind of scary.
it is.
Yeah.
It is real.
Down at the marina, it was all underwater at one point.
Yeah.
The people down there told me that was a 80-year flood. They never saw it like that in like 80 years or something like that. Something very. So.
Joan, do we know how long that PowerPoint is? The presentation?
No, I haven't seen it yet, but Alex said I gave her my email 3 times and she said she couldn't get it to attach. And so she said she's trying to contact the speaker again at UConn. I don't know her name.
Yeah, we might put that on our agenda for next month. Maybe if you could bring it in or take a look at it and report on it. But depending upon what it presents, how long it is, we may want to suggest, the committee in our town that handles postal students and or the town council to observe it, because it may have a lot of issues that they need to address at some point.
Absolutely. And I think that she came down from UConn just because it's so important down here in the next several years. So I'm going to call her again, but I am going away from the 16th until April 8th. I'm going out of the country. But I'm going to try to do this on the email.
Okay, great. Well,
Right.
thanks, Joan. I think that's important. So once again, any new business?
I have one. We've had some guests that are patiently here, and a contingency of Boy Scouts and the troop. And I'm assuming you came here for a reason. Would you want to address us and tell us what you're interested in, why you'd like us to
Want to talk?
hear you?
Explain why you're here. Let me see.
Or as a question.
Yeah, so thanks. So we're Troop 7 from here in Clinton, and so these boys are working on rank advancements. One of the requirements is for the citizenship in the community merit badge, and there's a requirement in there to attend a town meeting and then come back and talk to the merit badge counselor about different issues that were presented and what their thoughts were about. So that's one of about maybe 12 requirements in there. Some requires 8 hours of service they have to provide to their community, and really just a chance to kind of understand citizens' roles in their community. And there's other merit badges, citizenship in the nation, and the world, and society. But this is one of the 4 ones that's required for people.
I see. What, was there a reason why you picked the Conservation Commission to attend as opposed to another one?
Well, I think that conservation is a big piece of learning to be a scout, right? So understanding the things that the town is doing around conservation. I didn't even know this commission existed, and it happened to work on a night that we weren't meeting as a troop, so it's a good one to come to.
Dick, did you want me to just say a word on what we do, or do you want?
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, actually, this agenda really spells out a lot of the issues we're tackling. So the primary mission of the Conservation Commission is to provide accurate mapping of conservation areas within Clinton on a regular basis to the town council. And we do that on a probably every 3 or 4 year basis. The other major focus that we're working on is preserving land. And so keeping open space. And as you'll hear later in this meeting, we've got our eyes on a parcel of property that hopefully we can get between us and the land trust, we can acquire it and preserve it. And so that's the second big thing. So around that though, we try and come up with sort of relevant projects, whether it's the pollinator pathway, which I'm sure people are aware is so critical, that we provide pollinator gardens for the bees so that they can exist and live and continue doing what they do. So we joined the pollinator pathway, Clinton did, because of the Conservation Commission. And we're doing a good job of both generating interest in the pollinator pathway as well as, continuing to grow the number of gardens that are there. So that's one sort of mini project that we have. Same thing with residential food composting. MJ, who you heard, we lobbied the town to do this food composting, and they have eventually adopted it. It's at the town dump, and so now instead of depositing just recyclables and trash, you can also have a separate category, which is food composting. Food composting, when you do it right, it's a very heavy component of the food waste, and it's very polluting if you don't actually do it correctly. So if you just put it in the normal stream, it emits all kinds of methane and things like that. And instead, what we do is we compost it, and well, the town dump composts it for us in the leaf piles. And so that both saves the town money, but it's far more environmental sound. Japanese knotweed is just a project where we're trying to increase the town awareness of an invasive weed. If you've never heard of Japanese knotweed, look it up. It's a pretty intense invasive weed. When it takes root, it's almost impossible to get rid of it. And it's so strong that it actually, the weed itself can penetrate concrete in your basement and actually come up in your house. So it's one that we don't want to have in Clinton. And there's been a fair number of little mini sites where it's existing. And so part of it is just alerting the town of that danger. We've already talked about open space set aside. We've talked about the infrared camera. You've heard about bicycle racks. So those are the types of mini projects we keep going just to improve what Clinton's doing in terms of the conservation period. So Larry, I don't know if you want to add anything.
I just want to add just a couple of things. If this is one of your first forays into town government, everyone assumes town government is run by these town employees. Well, just about every town in New England is run by volunteers. Everyone on this board are citizens of the town who are volunteers, volunteering their time to come here once a month to pursue the charge of this committee. And there's a slew of committees for the town. There used to be a finance committee. There's one for Board of Education. There's one for zoning. There's one for zoning board of appeals, tax assessment. So every function that the town provides is run by a committee or a board of volunteers. We're the volunteers for the Conservation Commission. We meet once a month. We're in charge with identifying all the resources in town, mapping those resources like open space, water, wetlands, different things, historic places. We identify all of our resources in town. We map them so that we can see them on maps. And then what we do is we create a plan of conservation, how we conserve these resources, and then we implement that plan. What our chairman advised you of just now is a lot of the different projects that we are doing to implement that plan. So we're just one small aspect of town government. Okay, and what you got to realize is when you graduate from high school and you move on to college or go get a job, and you come back and you live in a town, you have the opportunity to take part in the running of the town. And so think about that. When you graduate, and you come back to this town or move to another town, get involved with town government. See if there's ways you can improve your town through the town government process, in all the different committees that you can be a part of. So, you know, basically, I just want to let you know. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Perhaps they have questions.
Anybody else have anything to say? Sorry?
Sherry mentioned maybe they might have some questions.
Questions, guys? I just have one on the pollinator pathway. Is that a website we can go find out more information about, or how to participate in that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And yes, there is a pollinator pathway website. Somewhat leery of, give me a second and I'll pull it up.
It's on the town's website.
It is. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's probably the easiest way for you to look it up.
Okay.
You can go to the Conservation Commission page. And I believe there's a link there.
Okay, very great.
Hey, and yeah, would love any help you can offer there. Between the beautification committee and us, you know, we did a lot of planning last year. So there is a pollinator garden right along, you know where Coffee Break is, and then you've got the river that runs next to it. We planted a garden all the way along the river there that is a pollinator pathway garden. And what we do is we label all the plants. And so it's a demonstration garden so that people can go there. They can see what the plants are, how tall they are, you know, what colors, et cetera, so they can plant their own gardens. So that was one thing we did last year. We've got another couple that are planned for this year, but there's some impediments in the way. So that is the pathway.
Yeah. One of the requirements of this is to understand where there might be like contentious issues or different sides of issues. Is this commission, it seems like conservation is something that most people can get along with, but are there issues that like you guys have to debate and align on?
That's a really good question. The honest answer is I don't think we do debate that much because everybody on this commission is self-selecting as somebody that cares about conservation.
And also, as a conservation commission, our job is to conserve our resources. And what you have is a general issue that usually goes on. You don't see it as much in this town, but there's a conflict between businesses and open space preservations. Which way do you want the land to go? Do you want to preserve it for the public use, for hiking and for animal resources and pathways and corridors? Or do you want to develop that land to create factories or businesses that give jobs for people and pay taxes? So usually when it's a question of should the town buy some open space to preserve, you have the one side, the business people who don't want to take it out of the prospect of being able to be developed and create jobs, versus you have the conservationists who want to keep it preserved for animal corridors and for use and hiking. So you have that as one natural conflict. And what Nick just discussed before, as far as the coastal resiliency, you know, with global warming, you have the water levels coming. And there are some studies which say all of the land on this side of 95 is going to be covered with water by 2050. So what are we going to do? We have a police station here. We have all of our town facilities here. The fire station. Are we going to have to move these facilities so when 2050 rolls around, they're going to be above water? And these are questions that every town on the shoreline has to answer. But the problem is, the solution to most problems is money. Who's going to pay for it? And the people who pay taxes don't want the taxes going up. So you have our need to protect for future generations by doing things to make our coast more resilient to global warming and rising water, versus the people who are here every day paying taxes and they don't want to see taxes for it. So that's another conflict that's happening. And committees like us and the board, our council, they have to deal with these issues all the time. That's just two.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
All right. We kind of have to move along here to keep to our very, very tight schedule. I just want to see if there were any additions to the next regular meeting. Anything we want to add to our agenda?
Nick,
Okay.
how about just the coastal resiliency, that PowerPoint?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
John?
let's put that on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else? So this is going to get a little confusing, Scouts, because, oh, well, we've got another couple things. Any correspondence that's come in, Sherry?
I've sent, most of the correspondence has gone out to you.
Yep.
There was a lot of correspondence about the upcoming conservation group meeting.
Yep.
I'm trying to look through here, anything. The Connecticut River Coastal Conservation District is having their 2024 Connecticut Native Plant Sale. And that's going to be on April 26th through the 28th at the Chester Fairgrounds. But you do have, it's all pre-order. You can't buy anything there. You have to have it ordered and pick it up there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of it. I think that's about it. Yep, that's
Okay.
it.
Cool. Although, okay, so we're going to go into this subcommittee meeting now, which is a subcommittee that is, 3 of the Conservation Commission and 3 from the Clinton Land Trust. And I can't see, I know Mike
Mike.
C was unavailable.
Mike, did you want to sit over here so I can go there? All right, over here, so you can be on camera.
There he is.
And
Hey, Mike, how are you doing? Okay, so we have to take attendance now.
We usually don't, but Mike Hood,
Here.
Mark Giacona,
Here.
Larry Louette,
Here.
Nick Webb,
Here,
Mike Castiglione.
he said he was not going to be available.
In Chicago. He's in Chicago, Nick. I think he's looking at a restaurant that serves hot chicken.
Yeah.
Thank you, Larry. That's good information. All right. So the first thing we have to do is review and approve the minutes of the meeting February 14th. Is there any discussion that needs to be had before we vote? No. Okay. Can somebody make a motion to approve the subcommittee minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the subcommittee minutes.
Can I get a second?
I have to abstain on the minutes. I'll second that.
Okay,
That was Mike,
that was Mike H.
okay?
Okay, so now this is kind of tricky because Mike H., Larry, and me are the only ones. But I guess that's a majority, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, any discussion on the minutes? No? Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The motion carries unanimously. So I'm sorry, Scouts, there's no conflict to debate here on this one. So at this point, Mike, you probably have the most information about where we stand. I saw that the land trust agreed to take up the process. Where has that gotten to?
Okay. You want me to start recording and then you can add in what we just.
Sure.
Yeah, I had sent a February 29th email to all of our committee members, including yourself, Nick. And it basically outlines, it's a 4-point outline as to what developments have occurred and where we're going. The first thing is that the open space contract negotiations subcommittee, which is by Mike Hood, Mark Giaconia, and our planner, Abby Pearsall. They need to get together to meet with the property owners to negotiate a purchase price on the Route 81 Killingworth Turnpike property, for upwards to the fair market value price, which has come in and been assessed at $159,000, with a closing date to take place at or about the end of August 2025, in order to give us time to get the state grant money before that closing date. So the first thing that the land trust voted on at its last meeting on February 28th of 2024, the Clinton Land Conservation Trust voted to authorize the committee to go meet with the buyers at some point within the next 30 to 60 days, depending upon availability, to negotiate a contract. And again, that would be for price upwards to the fair market value of $159,000 as established by the appraisal, with a closing to take place on or about August 2025. And we also asked to, in addition to those 3 people, we also want the land trust attorney, Ken McDonald, to be present so he can go through the particulars with them and come up with a final contract that can be signed. So that's the first development. And so Nick and Mike, you guys are going to be, you talked already and you're going to be trying to arrange a meeting?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
But are you guys? Yeah, I would. If you don't mind. Yeah, no problem.
And we have to do it at a mutually convenient time for you two, for the buyers, I'm sorry, the sellers. Ken McDonald, so you gotta deal with Ken.
Yeah, Ken is your guy.
And yeah, so he'll get Ken together and then the plan. So we have to choreograph a meeting with those 5 people plus the sellers.
Right, I'll do that.
Okay, we want to do that within the next, say, 30 days. If we did it before the next land trust meeting, great. If we can't, we have time. If that's the goal.
Okay.
Okay.
You can put me, sign me up for that.
Okay, the second thing is this land trust voted on February 28th to pay the 2 bills. The bill from the appraiser for $3,000 and from Rocco Quarasimo for $2,000. He was the reviewer of the appraiser's report. Land trust voted to pay those. And now what we have to do is get compensation back from the tag fund, because we only got $1,200 of $2,400. So we need to get the other. We wanted to talk with the planner also. Did you want to report on that?
Yeah, that check is in the mail. I talked to Darko at COCC, and that check has been mailed. It may be sitting in the post office right now.
Is that the other $1,200 plus the tag grant? So our land trust already got the 112.
That's correct.
And so now Mike dealt with that person to get the other 1,200.
Yes.
All right, so that'll give us 2,400. In the meanwhile, we received from the town $3,000. However, the town put a condition on that 3,000. As soon as we got money from the tag grant, we had to rebate back to the town the amount we got from the tag grant. So you also got to get a check from our treasurer, that's Clinton Land Conservation Trust, for the amount that the town gave us. The town gave us 3,000. We have to repay the 2,400 we're getting from the tag. So you got to get a check from our
So
treasurer.
the town didn't really give it to us.
Well, no, we're ultimately gonna get that money, but right now, so what we're gonna do is gonna use the 2,400 in tag grant money, plus 600 from the town for 3,000 to pay the bill of the surveyor. Then that leaves us with one other bill, that's the reviewer for 2,000. The land trust voted to pay that 2,000, and then we have to submit that to Abby. The 2 payments, so you got, and I have this all written down on here for you. Once we get, the land trust has an invoice for the payment of both of those invoices, we have to give it to Abby so that she can apply for the additional tag grant money and the other grant money that we're looking for.
Right.
And that's all I want to give them now.
And those tag grants, so, bottom line of all that is that, the tag grants go up to like 20 grand. We've already, you know, in the end, when that all shakes out, we will have got $2,400 in tag grant money. So that leaves us with a balance of 17,600 to apply for another grant, for, you know, tuning up the A1 survey, and possible environmental survey, and any other, you know, pieces that we need to put together, for the purchase, you know?
Yeah.
Right?
So the bottom line then is we have two things going on. Mark and Mike are gonna coordinate with the town planner and with the land trust attorney, to begin a meeting with the buyers in the next month or two, so that we can finalize on the contract. Once we finalize on the terms, Ken McDonald of the land trust, our attorney from the land trust, will prepare a contract for that. The second thing we got going is Mike Hood and Mike Castiglione are gonna get the two paid invoices from the land trust, bring it to Abby, and coordinate with Abby to do whatever additional submissions have to be made to get the additional grant. So those are the developments that are going on right now, and what we're gonna be looking to report back further on in the next 30 to 60 days.
Okay, so it sounds to me, correct me if I'm wrong, Larry, but it sounds to me like we probably need to go back to the town committee and say, you know, there's roughly another 10 grand of expenses above and beyond what the grant will be ultimately from the CLCC. And would like to contribute, town of Clinton should contribute to those expenses for the acquisition.
That, Nick, but so there's actually two things that we'd like to see the town, you know, they could, because the initial paperwork and like like tuning up the A1 survey, the environmental assessment, and any other things that are other accessory costs.
Right.
That's in the tag grant. Right now, if we apply for that grant, there's $17,600 that we could possibly, you know, get from that grant. And then there's the second grant, which is actually the grant that pays for the money, pays for the land,
Right.
you know? And typically, when you apply for a state grant, the state usually or typically, the percentage of the purchase price is about 65%.
Yep.
Of the total package. So at 159,000, 65% of that is about $107,000, a little more, somewhere in there. So there's another ask from the town. You know, I don't think it's unreasonable to ask the town for, you know, additional money beyond that to put some skin in the game and actually, you know, be a part of this thing.
And they actually authorized up to 3,000 less what we get back in tag rate. So we're gonna be giving them a check back for 2,400. And when we give it to them, we give it to them in one hand, and the other hand, then we're gonna ask it back to compensate us for paying the reviewer's charge of 2,000. So, and we'll be doing that through the planner, and that's something you and Mike Castiglione will coordinate. And I have it down here.
Is Abby?
Abby's not here tonight, so you'll have to approach her.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, we did ask for a capital expense from the town of Clinton to be budgeted for. And I know it hit the budget. There's rumors. Abby thought it came in at a reduced amount.
Yeah.
But let's not discuss this right now. Let's get certainty on it. But there is some money that has been budgeted. And obviously the town budget has not been approved yet, so there's no certainty on it until whenever the But I'll get more information on that this weekend, Mike, and I'll send you, Larry, Mark, an email that sort of spells out what's in the, hopefully what's in the capital request.
Okay, and, so the bottom line then is, until we get that signed contract, we gotta wait on that signed contract, and then we can get to the next step of going for additional monies from the town or the grant, with regard to the environmental survey, the updated one, survey, the different things.
Yes, agreed.
Okay,
It's possible, right, the owners could not want to sell the 150. That's right. So there's a possible scenario of it's more, they want more than the appraisal said. Is that the decision of are we gonna still do it? Because it would mean somebody's gotta top off the difference between what's granted and what is their price.
right now, this land trust is only authorized up to 159,000, which was the fair market value established by the appraisal. So you're gonna go to the buyer with that. And with the fact that we cannot close until next summer, so that'll give us time to get the grant in the interim. Now, if they're not agreeable to that, that's gonna require a report back from you guys. So that Mike, you can report to the Clinton Land Trust when we meet next month, whether or not we have to go up in price. So it may be a month or two of back and forth haggling before we establish a price.
Yeah, they say, keep in mind, like, if the owners want more than the appraised value, they kept saying 170 every time we got it.
The 180 was the estimate. Is that what you mean?
I don't know, they kept mentioning.
180.
170 mentioned.
But all I'm saying is, if they say no, we need 170, we have to decide if we still want to do it. And then where's the 10 or 11,000?
Yeah. I think you gotta tell them, you gotta go back to the land trust and then come back to
Right.
it. So,
Or the town.
Yeah, and I would be very cautious about putting any of our negotiating strategies into the town record right now.
yeah, I agree, agreed.
I think we should deal with hypotheticals when they happen.
Oh,
Here's the question I have. Is the assessment the same as fair market value?
The appraisal,
As to the appraisal?
the appraisal, what, based on their review of property in comparison with other similar properties, they determined that the fair market value was 159.
Okay,
So the appraisal equals the.
Yeah,
thank you.
exactly.
Okay,
And the reviewer of the appraiser's report confirmed the accuracy and validity of that 159 appraisal. So we have the initial appraisal plus a confirmation of it. So, and I think you gotta show those
Yeah.
to the buyer to show, give validity to our position that 159 is the price.
Because we don't want to just say we had one person left.
Yeah,
right.
So you wanna bring those reports to the, give them guidance.
You
$70.
Yeah.
you might want to let the scouts know where you're talking about property.
Oh, we're looking at property on Route 80,
Kellyworth Turnpike.
right past the high school. There's a town garage, an impoundment garage on the left side, and on the right side, just where there are homes crossing the property, 81, that's where we're looking. We're looking at 23.5 acres.
It's north of Indian River Recreation Area, right?
That's right.
It
And the
is.
reason why the Conservation Commission is joining with the land trust to buy it is the town doesn't want to buy open space right now because they don't want to increase their maintenance costs and then have to increase taxes for the people. So they're going to help the Clinton Land Trust, which is a volunteer organization whose charge is to preserve open space for public use and also owns close to 1,000 acres in town, about 10% of the town's land. They want to help get the Clinton Land Trust buy this property. And Land Trust wants to buy the property because it's a beautiful piece of property that can interconnect with other acres of property that the Land Trust has. So it will increase the animal corridors, hiking paths for our townspeople. It's got parking, it's got road access, it's got everything we want. So now we're trying to negotiate a purchase and get state funding that will buy it.
That's great.
Yeah.
once again, Larry, like, even just producing this document, excellent.
Well, you gotta keep things moving.
You really do, but it's such a great summary, it's easy to follow, so
Have you,
good job.
So I think that's all we've got in terms of the land acquisition subcommittee at this point. So, is there any new business for the land acquisition subcommittee other than what we've already discussed?
One thing I want to mention, Mike Castiglione, sent us an email about another piece of property that came up for possible purchase, for $650,000, and it was for less acreage. So the reason I bring it up is because it shows how reasonable this package
There you
is that
go.
we're looking at. We're looking at 23.5 acres for 159 to 180, versus this other property of less acreage for 650,000.
Right.
So,
No.
I don't think so, no, it's, remember Mike, Mike could have talked on it, Mike Castiglione, but he's not here tonight. He's in Chicago looking for hot chicken. So,
All right.
I think that's good to mention, only to show how there are high prices out
Yeah, no, I think we've got a very interesting property at the right price. It's really perfect. So can I get a motion for adjournment of the subcommittee?
I'll make that motion.
there.
Okay, so Larry seconds. All in favor of adjourning? All opposed? Okay, so the subcommittee is now adjourned. And now I turn to the Conservation Commission. Is there anything else before we adjourn?
Can't imagine. I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting of the Conservation Commission.
Okay, is there a second to MJ's motion?
I second.
Okay, Joan seconded. So all in favor of adjourning? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so the Conservation Commission is now officially adjourned.
Thank you for having
Scott,
us.
thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, so I'm going to